Hello, good morning, students. Okay, how are you all?
Yeah, fine.
Okay, so today we will revise qualitative research methods subject. This is university level subject, so I was expecting more attendance actually, but it's okay. We will start with the session. Can you see the screen? Now this I am on the slide 1. Is it visible? Okay. So this subject is qualitative research methods, and this is university level subject. It carries 50 marks. So there is no internal evaluation for this subject, and the exam will be conducted by the university, and your marks will also be given by the university on the basis of your performance in the examination. Okay. So we have a few lectures we have conducted for this subject. Okay, but today I am going to revise the whole subject. So when we will start with the topic qualitative research methods. So we will study first what is research, what are different types of research, nature of quantitative research and qualitative research, because these are two main types of research that are conducted, quantitative and qualitative. Then we will also look into greater detail about qualitative research, like what are the characteristics and limitations of qualitative research, and what are different ethics in qualitative research. Right. So when we are talking about research, what is research? Yes. Can anybody tell me what do you understand by the word research? So, research actually is a process of systematic inquiry that entails collection of data, documentation of important information, critical information, and analysis of that data, followed with interpretation of that data or information. So, in accordance with the suitable methodologies set by specific professional, or it can be he or she can be a academician in the academic discipline. So in the research process, basically the problem which is faced by a community or an organization or an society, it is taken as an inquiry, and data is collected for the same. So once the data is collected from the number of people, that is we call it as respondents. Then we document that data in the Excel sheet or any statistical software. Then the analysis of that data is conducted, and then the results are interpreted. And then there is a process of hypothesis testing, and then findings and suggestions are concluded. Okay, so this is nothing but the meaning of research. We try to find out the solution to the problem faced by organization or problem faced by society. Okay, another definition of research, it says that it is defined as the creation of new knowledge and or the use of existing knowledge in a new and creative way so as to generate new concepts, methodologies, and understandings. Okay, so another definition, it says that it does not only talk about existing problem, but it also put forth or create new knowledge. Some new theories can be put forth in the research process on the basis of existing knowledge. Okay, and try to create something new, some new concepts, some new methodologies, or new understanding altogether about some topic. That is what we call it as research. Okay, then what is the purpose of research? So identify the potential of business and new customers. So for if we talk the research in terms of business perspective, from the business perspective, the business organization, they try to identify the potential of business, new avenues, and they carry out the market study for their business and try to identify new customers. Second one is to understand the existing customers and their problems, try to identify the problems, solution to the problems, develop productive market strategies for the product or for the organizations, address the business challenges or certain issues that the organization is facing or business is facing. Then fifth is put together a business expansion plan and identify new business opportunities. So these can be few of the uh, points which we can see as the purpose for conducting the research. Just let me in the candidate. Okay, now I am on the third point, characteristics of the research. Can you see characteristics of the research? Hello everybody, can you? Okay, okay. Yes. So, characteristics of the research. So, what are the characteristics of the research? The first is that good research always follow a systematic approach to capture accurate data. So, there is certain methodology. There is a process that is followed to conduct any type of research. We start with defining or identification of the problem. Okay, then once you identify the problem, then the next step is you try to study the literature that is available, try to collect the data on the basis of that particular related to that particular problem. Define the objectives, define the scope of your research, then uh, design the data collection instrument. So you have to collect the data from different respondents, then you perform the analysis, then you carry out the hypothesis testing, then formulate or define the findings, then blot down the suggestions, and then finally the conclusion. So there is a specific methodology that is followed. There are different sampling techniques that you have to choose, and there is certain scientific procedure. Okay, so good research always follow a systematic approach to capture accurate data. Researcher need to practice ethics and a code of conduct while making observations or drawing the conclusions. So this is very important for any researcher. it is very important to follow the ethics in the research. You should try to avoid the plagiarism in the research. No copy paste. Okay, so the research should be pure form, and it should be conducted on the primary data. So primary data is that the data you actually go on the field and collect the data, so that we call it as a pure research. Okay, then the analysis is always based on the logical reasoning and involves both inductive and deductive methods. Okay, so inductive and deductive methods that I am going to explain later, which talks about development of a theory. Okay, so that I will be, so I will explain this point later when I will talk about inductive and deductive methods. Then real-time data and knowledge is derived from actual observations in natural settings. So real-time data and knowledge is captured, and there is an in-depth analysis of all the data that is collected. Okay, so these are a few of the characteristics of the good research. Another characteristics are that it creates a path of generating new questions. Okay, so existing data is there, and on the basis of existing data, it generate new knowledge and create more research opportunities. It has various forms. So when we talk about research, it has various forms of research, like there is a analytical research, longitudinal study is there, and so on and so forth. So it is analytical, it is descriptive in nature, and uses all the available data, so that there remains no ambiguity. So whenever you are conducting a research, suppose your sample size is 300 sample, so you should try to include all the samples, so that it will remove ambiguity in your research, and all the data points will be considered under your research. Okay, and accuracy is one of the important aspect. So whenever you are entering the data in SPSS, or whenever in in practice in Excel sheet or whatever the software, you should do it accurately, more precisely, so that it does not contain any errors, because if you enter the wrong input, you will get wrong output as well. So the research must be accurate, it must be correct to validate your findings. Okay, so these are few of the characteristics. Now we will look into what are different types of research. So there are different types of research. Okay, a classification of research, broad classification, and various types are there. So, say for example, there is a empirical research, theoretical research, applied research, exploratory research, descriptive research, explanatory research, qualitative research and quantitative research, and experimental research. Okay, so we will just try to look into these different types of research. So the first one is empirical versus theoretical research. Okay, now what do you mean by empirical research? So empirical research is actually based on the data gathered by the original experiments or observations. So empirical, it means that you actually go on the field, you collect the data, okay, and then you carry out whatever the experiments or procedures that are conducted on field. You collect the data on real time basis, so based on the data gathered by the original experiments or observations. Okay, so empirical research, it we define it as any research where the conclusions of the study is strictly drawn from concretely empirical evidences and therefore verifiable evidences. So there is something like there has to be a evidence for every data that you have collected. Suppose you are going on a field, you are collecting some data, so you should have the evidence of that data which you have collected. Okay, so for example, a research is being conducted to find out if listening to happy music while working may promote creativity. So this is suppose one type of research which is being conducted, that whether the, you know, suppose a person is listening to a happy music while working, does it promote the creativity in a human being or a person? So a survey may be conducted by using the music website survey on a set of, you know, audience who are exposed to happy music, and another set who are not listening to the music at all. So two groups can be created. In one group you can expose them to some music, and another group you can, the another group is not listening to the music at all. And then just try to see the actions and what are their outcomes of what they are doing. Suppose they are conducting any activity, so just try to see what are the results of that particular research. So when they are listening to music, and those with who are not listening to the music, whether it is whether there is any difference in the actions. So this is what, this is based on some experiment. Okay, so you, for this research to conduct, you have to actually carry this experiment, and then you have to note down the observations. So this is an example of empirical research. The next, yes.
So, what is the exact difference between empirical and experimental? Are they both same?
Yes, yes, yes. Experimental research is also same. See, in the research, there are minor changes in here and there. Some of the research, like empirical research, we also call it a pure research, or we also call it as an experimental research, because in pure research also we try to find out the solution to the problem. We collect the data at the first hand. So empirical research sometimes is also called as a experimental research, because in experimental research also it is necessary to perform the experiment and note down the important findings, or the findings or the outcomes. Okay. Hmm. Then the next is nothing but we call it as theoretical research. So what is theoretical research? Theoretical research, it analyzes and makes connections between empirical studies to define or advance a theoretical position. So it is based on the theoretical studies. Okay, it try to make the connection between empirical studies. So whatever the data that is collected from the empirical studies already collected, that is used for conducting the theoretical research. For example, the review of literature. Suppose you are trying to study the study of review of literature. So different types of research papers. For example, what is the state of e-governance in suppose Pune district. So there are certain research papers which are already published, and many researchers have already conducted a certain study, and they have already created certain theories. So those research which are already conducted, they are studied in greater detail. Okay, so the theoretical research might not collect the data at the first hand. It does not require to collect the data at the first hand. Okay, these are based on the studies which are previously conducted. So theoretical research is one which is hypothetical. In this type of research, the researcher does not use empirical data. For example, interviews to build the theory, instead uses the hypothetical example. So it does not actually prepare the questionnaire and interviews, but whatever the any hypothetical example, imaginary examples are taken, and the theories are devised. Okay. So like for example, testing of certain mathematical models, numerical simulations, like this, the theorists or the researchers, they can carry out the theoretical research. Then the next is inductive and deductive research. Okay, now what is inductive research? Inductive research is that when the researcher take an inductive approach. Okay, so it start with the set of observations. So specific data is there, specific data about the problem, it is gathered, and that data is analyzed for finding out the patterns, whether the data is having certain patterns or not. So data is analyzed, and then on the basis of that analysis, the theory is developed. Okay, the theory is developed. So inductive research, the outcome is development of a theory. Certain theory is put forth by the researcher. That is inductive research. As opposed to inductive research, there is a deductive research. So in the deductive research, what happens? theory is taken as an input, and then that theory data is collected for checking the validity of that theory, and then the hypothesis testing is done. So it is exactly opposite of inductive research. So in the deductive research, what happens, the researchers, they are taking a deductive approach, take the steps described earlier for inductive research and reverse their order. So they start with the social theory, any theory they conduct, any theory they take for study, and then they try to find out, they try to gather the data related to that theory, and then they prove their hypothesis whether it is wrong or right. So, in short, they try to prove whether the theories put forth are correct or not. So, that is inductive research and deductive research. Just a moment. Now, there is another bifurcation, that is, we call it as basic versus applied research. Okay. So basic research is also called as pure research, because in this what happens, it is a type of research in which original investigation into a reason behind the process or phenomenon or a particular event is studied. So a problem is studied into greater detail. Okay. It focuses on generating the knowledge around the existing or basic principles which are involved into theories. Whereas in basic research, it also considered non-commercial research because it does not focus on solving the practical problems and has no immediate benefit or way it can be applied. So it does not have the uh, it is considered as a non-commercial in nature. It is not conducted for some funding agency. Okay. So there is certain what we can say, there is certain reason, okay, or original investigation that is conducted to identify or to study certain process or certain phenomenon or any event into greater detail. Okay. It is not conducted for the benefit of the what we can say, a commercial benefit. So the example here is, a researcher may try to investigate the molecular structure of the material. Okay. So this is any individual who is keen or interested into finding out the molecular structure of the material. The next is the applied research. Now, applied research investigate well-known theories and principles in order to enhance the knowledge around the practical aim. And because of this, applied research focuses on solving real life problems. So, applied research is that the research which we can apply to solve the real life problems by deriving the knowledge which has immediate application. So any problem that is faced by the organization or a society, that issue is studied into greater detail, and the data is collected, the new knowledge is created, and then that problem is solved. Say, for example, a person may undertake applied research to investigate whether they can modify a molecular structure of a material or not. So, whether it is modifiable or not, it is a real life issue. So, in this, the researcher may collect and try to do the will try to study the molecular structure whether it is modifiable or not, and if it is modifiable, it will be a kind of, or it will be called as a applied research. Okay. That the results can be applied to the molecular structure of the material. So that is basic versus applied. The next is quantitative versus qualitative research. Okay. Now, what is quantitative? Quantitative research is the research where, in which the data is collected, analyzed, and there is a numerical data which is collected, and through the proper design instruments, and then the statistical analysis is performed on the data. Okay. Quantitative, so it allows to quantify the variables. Suppose uh, some data you are collecting related to, say for example, level of understanding or e-governance services provided by the government. So data is collected regarding the service quality, the promptness, the cost of the service, the availability of the service. Okay, so like these different variables are there, these variables are defined, and then the relationships are established. Say for example, what is the quality of service and what is its relationship to the satisfaction, citizen satisfaction who are availing the services. So like this, in quantitative research, the variables are defined, and through the statistical analysis, the relationships are established. Okay, so that is nothing but the quantitative research. Then as opposed to it is the qualitative research. So in qualitative research, it is a method that enables non numerical data collection. Okay, so open ended questionnaires are there, interviews are there, case studies are there, focus group interviews are there. Okay, and then through the discussion, through various rounds of discussion with the respondents, the data is collected. So it does not include the numerical data, but it has all the textual data. The responses are in brief. These are not the MCQ types of questions, but the brief questions like what are your opinion, what do you feel, how do you feel, like that. So that is nothing but we call it as an qualitative type of data. Okay, so in qualitative research, what happens? It enables researcher to collect the data on personal experiences. Okay, personal experiences, what are the feelings about the behavior of the person, as well as the reasons. Try to find out the reasons behind the behavior, why a person is behaving in particular manner. So what are the reasons? What is his psychology? Like that. So in qualitative research, mostly the qualitative aspect, okay, of a person is taken into consideration. So because of this, qualitative research is often used in the fields like social studies, psychology, physiology, okay, and other social science research. Basically it is useful, right? So that is the main difference between qualitative and quantitative research. Then next is exploratory versus descriptive and explanatory research. Okay. Yes. So exploratory research, as the name suggests, researchers conduct the exploratory study to explore the group of questions. So exploratory means going into greater detail and try to find out more about the issue. Okay, you explore more. Explore means you try to dig into more deeper level in the data. Okay, the answers and analytics may not offer a conclusion to the perceived problem, but it undertakes to handle a new problem area that haven't been explored before. So for most of the exploratory studies, the new problem areas are identified, and then the exploratory studies are conducted. So this exploratory process lays the foundation for more conclusive data collection and analysis. So more, the sample size for the exploratory research is always more than 1,000. Okay, because it involves more data collection. The size of data sample is also more, and it also goes into greater detail and dig out the information and try to find out the problem. So exploring certain questions or certain areas into greater detail, that we call it as exploratory research. Then another is descriptive research. So descriptive research is a type of quantitative research. Okay, so in quantitative, like I said, quantitative research, we quantify the data, we perform the statistical analysis. Okay, so in descriptive, It is a type of quantitative research because it focuses on expanding the knowledge on the current issues through the process of data collection. So various variables are defined and only one variable is required to conduct the study. Say for example, citizen satisfaction or customer satisfaction or service quality. Like that, at a moment, one variable may be studied to conduct, one variable may be required to conduct a descriptive study. Okay. Then the next is explanatory. Okay, so explanatory is also called as a causal research. Causal or explanatory research is conducted to understand the impact of specific changes in existing standard procedure. So where the explanations are required. So explanatory research is where there is a before and after scenario, like that. So wherever there are certain research, okay, say before pandemic, after pandemic, like that. Okay, so causal or explanatory research is conducted to understand what is the impact of specific changes in the existing procedure. So certain procedure is followed, what was its impact before the procedure followed and after the procedure followed, like that. Okay, and then certain explanations are owned by the researcher and then that is nothing but we call it as explanatory research. Okay, so you conduct various experiments also as a part of explanatory research because you have to provide the explanations, okay, which can be better explained if you perform the experiments, right? So here is the example, a study that is conducted to understand the effect of rebranding on the customer loyalty. So suppose there is a well established brand over a period of years when you are branding, and then you wanted to over a period of time the growth has stagnant. So if you wanted to rebrand your product, so you apply certain rebranding strategies and then try to study its impact. Okay, so that is nothing but the example of explanatory research or causal research, right? So that was your introductory chapter. Yes, any doubt in this?
I have a doubt.
Yes.
In that inductive and deductive, my understanding is
Yes,
inductive means we form laws from examples. So
just a moment,
deductive
I will just open that slide. Yeah, yeah, tell me.
for deductive from laws to examples. So I always get confused from general to particular and particular to general words. So it is
You see,
inductive means general to particular.
no, 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 no. In inductive research, what happens? There is a specific level of focus is there. Certain problem is there. Okay, so on the base that problem, we try to collect the data. We analyze the patterns. We perform the analysis.
For example, we form laws or certain rules because it is applicable in various ways. This is the question
Hmm,
which
hmm.
often is asked in exam, like general to particular or particular to general. For
Yeah.
inductive,
So for inductive, it is particular to general. Yeah, general level of focus is developed. So a general theory which is applicable to all. So it is yeah, it is particular to general. That is the inductive research, whereas the deductive is opposite. Okay.
one more question is like
Yes.
you said the a survey is conducted for qualitative or quantitative.
Quantitative. No, survey is conducted for both
No,
qualitative also and
quantitative.
quantitative also. The nature of survey, how the survey is conducted, through what instrument, through what methodology you are conducting survey, it differs. In quantitative, what happens, we prepare proper questionnaire. Suppose there are 100 respondents or 300 respondents in the organization. Okay, so you prepare proper questionnaire, MCQ types.
Right. So
Huh.
we get the data for qualitative as well as quantitative. Similarly, for descriptive, you said that it is quantitative. So
Yes,
I think descriptive again we get qualitative data as well.
it can have the qualitative data, but the more aspect, the major aspect of,
Quantitative.
Yes, you can have.
But there is confusion.
Hmm.
Pattern is same, but the names are different, as you said, explanatory and
Yes,
qualitative.
yes, yes. See, what happens in the quantitative research, we prepare proper questionnaire which has fixed response that the respondent has to select from that response only. Okay, so that is the say, or a certain set of questions which are,
Sequence-oriented questions in the
yes,
assessment.
structured manner. Whereas in case of what we can say qualitative, we ask descriptive questions. We may ask quantitative also, but they are very few, like age group or income level, like that you can ask the questions. Okay, but you have to ask the questions which are descriptive in nature. Like, what is your opinion, and what is your opinion, what is your feeling, how you are feeling. Suppose certain patients are there who are uh, um, you know mm, who has a leprosy, some disease is there, suppose AIDS is there, or some any critical illness if the person is having. Okay, so you try to find out how his relationship is there with his colleagues, his family members, what are his feelings, and like that. So certain questions which are opinion based, okay, which do not have the fixed response, that we call it as an that come under the qualitative research. Okay.
That goes under descriptive as well. But there are few questions.
No, no, descriptive is totally quantitative in nature. It is quantitative in nature because in descriptive you try to
Descriptive in which
listen, I'll tell you. In descriptive, what happens, in descriptive study you try to find out the description of the population or a sample. Okay, you try to find out more description about the population. So in descriptive quantitative research, what happens, we are preparing proper we prepare proper questionnaire which has fixed response. So in descriptive also, the major part of your research, okay, is quantitative in nature. No doubt you can also ask few questions related to your opinion and what is your feedback. Okay, what changes or what suggestions you would like to give, like that also you can ask, but major part is of a this quantitative in nature. Okay. Okay, now we are going to see what are different techniques or different designs in which we can link qualitative research with the quantitative research. Okay, it is very important because whenever you are conducting any type of research, whether you conduct a qualitative research or quantitative research, you have to perform a kind of data analysis. Okay, so if you have the quantitative data, you can put it in the SPSS software and you can perform the data analysis. The same is not the case with the qualitative data, but qualitative data also you have to analyze. Okay, and then you have to come with the conclusion. So we are going to see how we can correlate or link qualitative research with the quantitative research, and there are certain technique like the triangulation method is there that we are going to study. Okay, so when we talk about a quantitative research, we have seen that it deals with the numbers and statistics. Okay, whereas the qualitative research, it deals with the words or the meanings behind the words. Okay, that is the basic difference between the quantitative and qualitative, right? Now in quantitative methods, we allow the researcher to test the hypothesis by systematically collecting the data and analyzing the data using a software. Whereas in qualitative methods, what we do, we allow the researcher to explore the ideas and experiences of the individual in depth. So identification of ideas, exploring the ideas and experiences, or creating the understanding or the theory. So that is nothing but the qualitative methods. Okay. Now another aspect of quantitative research is that the quantitative research is expressed in numbers and graphs. It is used to test or confirm the theories and assumptions. We put forth certain theory, we put forth certain assumption, or we call it as an hypothesis. Okay. And then we try to test it, and it can be used to establish the generalizable fact about the topic, right? So common quantitative methods, it include the experiments like observations recorded as numbers, and surveys with close ended questionnaires, not open ended. See, there is something, uh, there are two types of questionnaires when you collect the data. One, we call it as an open ended questionnaire, and another we call it as an close ended questionnaire. So close ended questionnaire is that the one in which the questions and answers to those questions are fixed. Okay. So the respondent has to select from only those options. That is, we call it as an close ended questionnaire. Whereas in open ended questionnaire, what happens? Depending on the answer of the respondent, the interviewer, okay, or the researcher may create new questions on the spot and ask those questions. Also, these questions, it does not carry the fixed response. The response is open to all, and any respondent can share his or her ideas. So there is no fixed response, so that we call it as an open ended questionnaire. So the all the opinions, ideas are open, and these are, researcher is free to share the ideas. So in qualitative, mostly, yes, the open ended questionnaires are used, and quantitative, close ended questionnaires. There are some semi structured also, okay, which is combination of close as well as open. So when we talking about a qualitative, it is expressed in words used to understand the concepts, thoughts, experiences, right? And this type of research, it enables you to gather in depth insights about the certain topic or issue. So, common qualitative methods, it includes the interviews with open ended questions, observations described in words, literature reviews that explore the concepts and theories. So, the literature or the reviews which are already conducted, the research studies which are already conducted by certain researchers, they also carry equal importance in the qualitative research. Okay. So this is just the difference between the qualitative and quantitative methods. Yes, this qualitative method, it is more text based. Quantitative, it is more number based. Okay, qualitative is more in depth information on the few cases which are taken under the study, whereas in quantitative the sample size is more. Okay, because you provide the questionnaire to 100 respondents or 300 or maybe 1000, and then you collect the fixed set of responses. So large number of cases or samples are there in the quantitative methods. Okay. In qualitative, you have unstructured or semi structured kind of questions and responses, whereas in quantitative you have fixed responses. In qualitative, you don't apply any statistical tests as such, whereas in quantitative you apply statistical test, and then you test the hypothesis. Okay. uh, so there is a, always a debate about quantitative and qualitative, how you can validate. Because in quantitative, what happens, you can validate the data, you can perform the statistical analysis, you have the some mathematical calculations, some statistical techniques you are applying to prove your result. So it is easily, uh, you know uh, uh, research can be easily validated, and it is reliable, because it mostly depend on the measurement device or instrument use. Whereas in case of qualitative method, what happens, there is all the text based, opinions are there. So it is difficult to validate and to rely, but it largely depend on the skill of the researcher. How skillful is the researcher? How minutely he is collecting or noting down the observations, how he is validating the answers which are given by the respondents. So validity is a personal validity of the researcher. We can say a content validity or a face validity is used. So face validity is something that on the basis of researchers skill, okay, try to find out the validity of the uh, instrument. Okay. So that is more about the qualitative and quantitative methods. Different types of methods we use for qualitative method, like focus group, in-depth interviews, review of documents, or the research which is already conducted. That comes under the qualitative methods. Whereas in quantitative methods, surveys, interviews, questionnaire, observations. Okay, these are the techniques that are used in quantitative, right? So that is difference between qualitative and quantitative methods, right? Now, how we can combine qualitative and quantitative research, right? So validate finding using the first aspect is we are validating the findings using quantitative and qualitative data sources. Now, in this, the evaluators can use there is something called as convergent design. Now, what happens in this? The evaluators can use this design to compare the findings from qualitative and quantitative data sources. Now, in whenever you want to validate certain research findings using both the data, okay, both the methods. So, researcher it involves collecting both type of data roughly at the same time. So, at the same time, you are collecting, you are the researcher prepares the questionnaire and get it filled from the respondents. At the same time, one more questionnaire is prepared, which is open-ended questionnaire, and it is given to the same respondents to fill in about opinion about the you know about let's say feelings or about the feedback about the process. How do you feel? Okay, about the services offered by the organization. So the person may come out with certain problems which cannot be what we can say, which cannot be converted into number or numeric data. So certain experiences may be shared by the respondent. So like that, at the same moment of time, both the quantitative data as well as qualitative data is collected separately, and then they are analyzed. Both type of data is analyzed, comparing the result through the procedure such as side by side comparison or in the discussion which is carried out in the group of researcher. So whatever the findings that are revealed from the questionnaire, the same feedback, whether it is revealed by the respondents through the open ended questionnaire or not, so that can be analyzed. So this is what is the approach that we call it as an convergent design, where the data is collected from through both the methods. Okay, and transforming the qualitative data into quantitative scores to jointly displaying both forms of data. So uh, give we try to find out the opinion. For example, you ask a question related to what is your opinion regarding the services provided at some e-seva kendra or some service center, or any service which is provided at some restaurant, for example, or any hotel. So in this you may get certain responses or feedback or opinion. So you can club the opinions, similar type of opinions you can club together and give it option A. Second type of opinion you can club it and give it option B. Like that, you can also convert your qualitative data into quantitative data by grouping the ideas, by grouping the feelings or opinions together. Okay, so this is what we call it as convergent design. Okay, now here is one example. The investigator can gather the qualitative data to assess the personal experiences of patients while also gathering the data from the survey instrument measuring the quality of the care. So, suppose certain patients are there, so they are taking certain treatment in government hospital, so their personal experience of the patient they can share, and also you can prepare a questionnaire on the quality of care on the 5 point scale: highly satisfied, satisfied, neutral, dissatisfied, like that. Okay, so like this, uh, this is one way you can combine the qualitative with quantitative. Then another is use the qualitative data to explore the quantitative findings. So this is nothing but the explanatory sequential design. Okay. Now in explanatory sequential design, what happens? There are two phases in this. The first phase is that in the sequential explanatory design, the data are collected over the period of time in two consecutive phases. Okay, so because we talk about a sequential design, so in a sequence means that the data is collected over a period of time. Suppose last year you are collecting data, before that, so consecutively, suppose for 5 years you are collecting the data for certain issue or related to certain event or procedure. So, in this, what happens? The researcher first collects and analyzes the quantitative data which is collected over the period of time. And then, in the second phase, what happens? Whatever the data is collected, okay, then it is studied and then the and are related to the outcomes from the first quantitative phase. So, in the second phase, whenever you are collecting the data, the qualitative data are collected in the second phase, and then they are studied and then they are compared with the previous year data. Okay, suppose consecutively 2 years you are collecting the data, so the data which is collected in the first year is compared with the data which is collected in the second phase or second year, for example, and then this data is compared. So this is called as explanatory sequential design, which talks about comparing the data, collecting the data into two consecutive sequences, and then comparing, carrying out the comparison of both the data, right? So that is explanatory sequential design. The next is developing the survey instruments. So there are certain mixed methods when we are talking about uh, qualitative and quantitative research design. There are certain methods which are mixed together, okay, which conduct qualitative as well as quantitative studies at the same time. These are called as mixed methods. Okay, so in mixed method study design, it support the development of appropriate quantitative instruments that provide accurate measures. So it consists of some part of some open ended as well as some close ended questionnaires. So survey instruments is one instrument or one method in which you can combine, qualitative as well, you can cover the qualitative as well as quantitative aspect of the certain issue or certain problem. So this is one way you can, through survey instrument, you can combine qualitative as well as quantitative research by asking the particular type of questions in open ended as well as close ended manner. Okay, so developing survey instruments which combine mixed methods, that is one way we can combine the qualitative and quantitative research. Then next is use the qualitative data to augment the quantitative outcomes. Okay, augment means adding, addition, or enhancement. So using the qualitative data to add or enhance the quantitative outcome of the study. Okay, so in this, what happens? An outcome of the study, for example, a randomized or control variable is there, okay, which you are studying with, an outcome of the study, for example, a randomized control trial with qualitative data collection and analysis is added. This is called as embedded design. So this approach of using or augmenting the outcome is called as embedded design. So in this, what happens? In this type, within this type of an outcome study, the researcher collects and analyzes both quantitative and qualitative data. So first, the quantitative data is collected, and on the basis of, again, the qualitative data is collected to, what we can say, to finalize or making the concrete findings about the quantitative outcomes. That can be done by conducting one more study, okay, and then it augment or enhances the quantitative outcomes. So the qualitative data can be incorporated into study to augment the quantitative outcomes. Okay, so that is nothing but we call it as an embedded design. So this is one approach. Then another is multi-phase design. In multi-phase design, what happens? It involves community stakeholders. So multiple or community participants are involved, more community participants, and then the data is collected from multiple community participants. So that is, we call it as a multi-phase design. So community based participatory approach is there in this particular multi-phase design. And in this, what happens? This advanced mixed methods approach, it involves community participants in many quantitative and qualitative phases of the research to bring about the change. Okay, say for example, uh, suppose to evaluate the health services. Okay, so you collect the data from the doctors, nurses, the care providers or staff. You collect the data from the patients. You collect the data from the lab technicians. You collect the data from the patient relatives, like that. So a certain issue is there or certain problem is there, then related to that, you can evaluate certain situation or a certain variable in multi-phase manner, in the sense that multiple participants are involved, which make your research more concrete. Okay, so that is, we call it as an community based involvement, okay, participatory approach, or it is also called as multi-phase design, right? So this is one way, right? Now we move on to the next method. Now I'll explain you this method, and then we will take short break of 5 minutes, and then I will continue to the methods of QRM. Okay, so what is triangulation? As the name indicates, triangulation means it has three sides, multiple ways to conduct the or collect the data. So triangulation refers to the use of multiple methods or multiple data sources in qualitative research to develop a comprehensive understanding of phenomenon. Okay, so triangulation means more than two. So here we say multiple methods or multiple data sources are involved, and then through these multiple data sources or multiple methods, the research is conducted, which results into comprehensive understanding of the phenomenon. Okay, now what are there? Different methods are there. So there are four types of triangulation methods. The first is methodological triangulation, then data triangulation, then investigator triangulation, and then theoretical triangulation. Now in methodological triangulation, what happens? More Where more than one methodological approach is used to collect the data. So data is collected in multiple approaches, more than one approach, right? That's why it is called as methodological triangulation. So three different methods are used in data triangulation. The data are collected from more than one data sources. Okay, you are collecting the data from web, you are collecting the data from questionnaire, you are collecting the data from observation. Okay, so three methods. Since triangulation, when we say more than one, it means three different types of data collection sources are there, so it is called as data triangulation. Then next is investigator triangulation. So investigator triangulation is where two or more researchers, they take part in integrative analysis, or they investigate the issue. Okay, so more than, so say we can say that three researchers, they carry out the study, so it is called as a investigator triangulation. Then the last is theoretical triangulation. So where there are different theoretical perspectives or interpretive frameworks are adopted. Okay, that is called as theoretical triangulation. So these are four different types of triangulation methods are there, which are used in qualitative research. Okay, so yes, any doubt in this? Yes, students.
The data collection is more than three sources or less than three sources, but more than one, right?
Yes, 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 more than one. Yes, more than one, we call it as an triangulation method. Multiple. Triangulation actually it means three, but in some cases,
Like we can collect more than three sources also if required in particular research.
yes, 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 we can to validate the data findings. Okay, now we'll take a break of 10 minutes. Yes, now it is 11:50, so we will join at 12 o'clock. Okay, so we will um, complete the third and fourth topic, right?